So Laura Loomer. This is a fun one. This is a real good one. So Laura Loomer basically just got some really unfortunate news. She has lost a lawsuit from the Council on American Islamic Relations. And why were they suing her? Well, because she sued them. And they were trying to recoup their legal costs. And those legal costs are a lot. A judge has ruled that Laura Loomer owes the Council on American Islamic Relations, CARE, $250,000. Oof. Oof. And why did Laura Loomer sue CARE, which led CARE to filing this claim and then them winning? Well, she sued them because, as you'll all remember, Laura Loomer got banned from Twitter. And why did Laura Loomer get banned from Twitter? Well, Laura Loomer got banned from Twitter, according to her, because CARE was pulling the strings behind the scenes at Twitter. I'm thinking of Bela Lugosi right now. Have you ever seen the movie Ed Wood? Pull the strings, pull the strings. Anyway, she sued. She believed that CARE was secretly working in cahoots with Twitter to get her banned from the platform. And she believed that. Well, let me have her tell you first how this all came about, and then I'll fix some areas where she's wrong. Let's pull up this clip from Laura Loomer on why she sued CARE. She was on a show, some right-wing show on YouTube a few days ago. Let's listen in to her version of events.
Yeah, so thanks for having me. So in 2019, as you said, I did file a lawsuit in Florida against Twitter and CARE. And the reason I sued them is because there was a report that came out in the Wall Street Journal in 2019 that explained how CARE lobbied Twitter to ban me. And a woman by the name of Zara Bilhu, who's an admitted jihadist, an anti-Semite, she is an executive director for CARE, and she admitted in an interview with the Wall Street Journal that CARE aggressively lobbied Twitter and met with their executives to get me banned because I was criticizing and exposing Ilhan Omar, who CARE, of course, has endorsed and financially supported. And so I sued them for tortious interference because when I was banned from Twitter, I lost 90% of my income as an investigative reporter, since posting on Twitter was my main platform and source of revenue, since people could contribute to me online. And ultimately, this was a case that was carried out for about 2 years, and then it was dismissed after we appealed. And then it was, the appeal was upheld by the 11th Circuit. And now CARE has tried to get attorney's fees out of me. And just last week, a few days ago, a federal magistrate ruled in favor of CARE. And now they're ordering me to pay $125,000 in legal fees to CARE, which you said is Hamas. So essentially, the American judiciary is ordering a Jewish American citizen to fund Islamic terrorism.
Well, hold on. Before we get to the...
Okay, there was a lot there, but that's her version of events. By the way, I love the identity politics she's playing. The judge is making me, a Jewish person, pay these evil Muslims. I mean, where this whole Hamas thing comes from is that apparently CARE did support Hamas before the United States declared that Hamas was a terrorist organization, which I'm not even going to get into that. That's for another episode. I think that's a whole nother, that's whatever. But, and since then, CARE, upon that designation, has stopped any sort of relationship with Hamas and has denounced them. Who gives a shit? I'm just giving you guys a little bit of background as to why she's saying that, because it's ridiculous. But anyway, the whole thing here is that Wall Street Journal uncovered some connection between Hamas and CARE. But that's not really the whole truth. That's not really the whole truth whatsoever. Where this comes from is basically a CARE spokesperson, that woman that Laura Loomer brought up. She apparently did what anyone could do on Twitter upon seeing Laura Loomer's Islamophobic anti-Muslim hate speech back when she was on Twitter. She went to the public Twitter report page and she reported Laura Loomer's account. She admitted to doing that when Wall Street Journal asked her. There was no secret stage connection or behind the scenes co-conspirating. It was literally something you or I could do. Twitter report, fill in the form, send. But what Laura Loomer's leaving out is the reason she got interviewed by the Wall Street Journal when this all went down, when she got banned and they came to her about some sort of weird CARE connection with Twitter. She left out the fact that this all came from a prank. Laura Loomer fell for a prank. It was a prank from Nathan Bernard, who's been on this show before, and Chris Gillen, who reached out to Laura Loomer after she was suspended or banned for good from Twitter. And they claimed to her that they were Twitter whistleblowers. They were actually working at Twitter and had some secret information to tell her about why she was banned. And they said to her, hey, we got to tell you that you were banned because all these Islamic groups, these Muslim rights groups, have a deal with Twitter and they work together to get you banned. And the reason they did that is because they wanted to prove that Laura Loomer doesn't do any sort of journalistic work whatsoever. She didn't do any fact checking, that she just takes what anyone tells her as the word of, as the gospel. And that's exactly what she did, obviously. But they assumed she would take it to InfoWars, Alex Jones's show. And that would basically kill two birds with one stone. Both Loomer and Jones would be broadcasting and platforming information completely, wholly made up by two pranksters. But instead, she went to the Wall Street Journal, and the Wall Street Journal covered it. And she used what the pranksters gave her and the Wall Street Journal coverage to then go ahead and sue CARE. I mean, if you don't remember how Laura Loomer handled this whole situation, I can give you a funny reminder. When she got banned from Twitter, one of the first things Laura Loomer did was hold a protest at Twitter headquarters in New York, which saw her handcuffing herself to the front door of the office building where Twitter is. Amazing. And she's wearing the star. Okay. All right. And if you need more about how well Laura Loomer handled this, here is another clip of when she went on Alex Jones's show and went nuts over being banned from social media.
And we're talking right now to Laura Loomer with a t-shirt, a free Laura Loomer, freeloomer.com. Why do you think they've done this? I guess because they see Trump green lighting it, not doing anything so far, or where is? Because I mean, I get you're pissed off. You're fighting hard every time I'm in the trenches. I see you there. Yeah. Well, I mean, what do you think Trump should do? What should we do? Where do you see this going? Because
Let's get to Loomer's meltdown here. Let's yeah.
Was when I still had access to my my Twitter account, right? But I was mocked, right? Look at that asshole, Bill.
Oh, right.
Mocked me and called me crazy. But what are they doing? I want to know what people are actually going to do. My life is ruined. Does anybody understand how ruined my life is? I'm sick of it. I don't want to listen to people tell me that I'm a conspiracy theorist. They don't know what it's like.
no, I understand. I just think you need to go with it. And, you know, I understand I've been through this myself, but realize these are wars. These are hard. But I know your frustration, Laura. You wouldn't feel bad if more men.
There's just another.
Have a degree. I was valedictorian in college. I graduated top of my class in my journalism program, and I can't have.
No, I get it. You've been in the trenches 6 years and delivered nothing but the goods. And
Let's keep going.
Right, and they mock me and they say I'm some crazy conspiracy.
well,
theorist.
that's what happens, Laura, to leaders. So, but I hear you. And Trump's been so surrounded by the.
Let's keep going with Loomer.
Livable at this point in time. Like, what is the point? What is the point?
Don't say that, Laura. You're a hero to a lot of people. Now they've had whispered. Yep.
Alex, I am 25 years old and I don't want to live the rest of my life. I could potentially live 75 more years. You know what I'm saying? And like my life now, I have to worry about getting murdered by leftists and Muslims every single time I go outside.
It's disgusting. Oh, I know. They're so protected. It's so sick. So sick.
I've reached out to people. I've reached out to people in the Trump administration. I've reached out to people like Charlie.
Well, most of them are cowards. They're just hangers on. We got Trump elected and all the parasites came in. And just remember, it's better than Hillary, but I understand. Well, by Zuckerberg and all them is pain.
Yeah, it's funny to see Alex Jones as the calm voice telling her, like, listen, you just got to roll with it. Calm down, please. Going a little bit too crazy. And if you're wondering what he was talking about with the auctioneering voice, another way Laura Loomer handled this after alongside handcuffing herself to the Twitter headquarters and then crying about it on InfoWars, she proceeded to interrupt a House hearing that had nothing to do with Laura Loomer or Twitter at all, if I remember correctly. And a Republican who previously worked as an auctioneer stopped her protest by speaking over her in his auctioneering voice. Let's get to this.
Recognizes that
it's pretty funny to see Laura Loomer yelling as this guy just talks over her. That's Laura
we'll
Loomer interrupting
in the hearing room,
the hearing.
Or you'll be asked to leave. Ma'am, if you'll please take a seat, or we'll have to have you.
There's
and
Laura
you'll need
Loomer.
to
President
relieve.
Donald Trump, help us. Please help us, Mr. President, before it is too late. Because Jack Dorsey is trying to influence the election, to sway the election.
What's she saying? I can't understand her. What?
Steal the election. That is why
What's
he is
she-
censoring and shadow banning.
How about it in? 12 and a half, 15, 7 and a half, $20, 2 and a half, 5, 7 and a half, 30. Hit $30 down here, 2 and a half, 5, 35, 7 and a half, 40. Hit $40, 2 and a half, 5, 45, 7 and a half, 50. Hit $50 down here, 2 and a half.
Officer,
5,
will you
55,
escort
55,
this
7 and a
young
half,
lady
60.
out, please?
Hit 2 and a half now, 5, 65, 7 and a half, 70. What, 2 and a half now, 5, 75, 7 and a half, $80 to 5, 85, 90. Hit $100 and 10, 10, 10, a quarter, 1 and a quarter, 1 and a half, to divide to 2, 2 and a quarter. Hit 2 and a half, to divide 3, able to bomb 300. Hit 3 and a quarter. Cut 3 and a quarter now, half, 3 and a half, to divide 400. Hit but a 4, 4 and a quarter, 4 and a half. We're selling the cell phone there, 4 and a quarter, 4 and a half. Hit 4 and a half, 475, 505, 5 and a quarter, 5 and a half. I yield back.
That's well done. I thought it was funny. That takes talent too.
Somehow I think our auctioneer in residence going to get tweeted about today.
And he got a lot of attention from that one, if I remember correctly. But yeah, so she didn't take getting banned from Twitter quite well, and she was so distraught over it that she fell for a few pranksters, and all of this was enough for her to file a lawsuit against CARE. A judge ruled that. A judge ruled against her, I should say. She lost that case. And then I believe she even lost an appeal in that case where they basically said, listen, there's no case here. There's nothing proving CARE had any deal with Twitter. And on top of that, you have no proof any loss of economic loss from being banned from Twitter. On top of that, you had no deal with Twitter. Just not being on Twitter is not enough to say you have a financial loss from not being on Twitter. And then CARE went ahead and sued for their legal fees, and they won. And they will now get around $250,000. What will probably happen is there'll be appeals, and who knows what's going to happen. But as of right now, Laura Loomer owes CARE, the Council on American Islamic Relations, around $250,000. She says she hasn't got it, but they probably won't see that money. But it's still funny that this all went down that way.